everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Points of Articulation. I'm your host, Dave, and if you're new to the channel, welcome everybody. Today I'm looking at the Tamika Star Wars Resistance A-Wing Starfighter, released in 2018. This vessel was first seen in Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Now, this particular paint variant is the one I wanted Hot Wheels to make so bad. Sadly, we never got it. But we did get the blue version and the Rise of Skywalker's green version. So I guess that's good in a way. But this is the version I really liked because it mimicked the color of the original trilogy A-Wing. And I think this is really cool. And just like the First Order TIE Fighter, this is indeed a gift from Overlord 9. So thank you again, Overlord. This is a great piece. So just like that review, we're going to take a quick look at the box. And then we're going to go over the size and whatnot, and then we're going to go right into the review. So let's take a quick look at the box. So real quick, this is the box it comes in, and I love these boxes. This is turning into one of my favorite segments on my channel, where I take a look at the foreign box. We have Takara Tomy, Resistance A-Wing. Can't read what this says, but I'm guessing Resistance A-Wing. So, it pretty matches up there. We have Disney and the Star Wars logo. It's number 3 in the set. Very nice. Here we have the aft section. Nice stand there, clear. Here we have the bottom of the vessel. Looking good. Here we have a write-up. Wish I could read it, but pretty nice. I love the deco on these boxes. Now we have the front of the box. Looking good. Any back. I have no clue what any of this says, but I'm guessing it tells you, making specs and everything like that, copyright stuff. But this is very interesting, and I love all this stuff. I always find this very interesting to see different cultures and ways of life of other people. So this is right up my alley, looking at a product from another country. Really intriguing, and if you guys feel the same way, let me know in the comments below. Very nice, very interesting box. Thanks, Overlord. Wow, that's a great looking box. I just love that stuff. So anyway, back to this particular miniature. For its size, it measures in a little under 3 inches long, which is actually very nice. So if you're new to the channel, what I like to do is go over the parts of the vessel, take a nice close-up look to see what we're really buying, and then we're going to go into paint, put it on a stand, compare it to some other vessels, and then we'll be done. So let's get started. So let's kick this video off looking at the mold. Like in all my videos, I will go over all the major sections of the item, and then we'll get a nice close-up look to see the fine details. So let's begin, shall we? In the front, we have our sensors array. Looking pretty good. I love the little cut there. Very nice. The A-Wing is one of my favorite designs. And I'm not going to lie, I may not be the biggest fan of The Last Jedi, but I respect and I really like a lot of the artwork and designs that went into the film. It's a beautiful film, and a lot of the ships are somewhat unique and different than what we're used to, such as this. You could tell it's an A-Wing, but it looks a little different. It looks sort of like Ralph McQuarrie's concept art, mixed with the A-Wing we know and love, and I dig it. But anyway, back to the major parts. We have our canopy with a transparent steel window, shield generator in the back. Right in the center, this section right here should be the thruster jets, which looks pretty cool. We have our stabilizer fins, looking sharp. And look at that negative space there with the thrusters attached to the engines. Awesome. Then moving on, we do have our 2 laser cannons. On the sides, we have our missile launchers. Usually it's concussion missiles, but, to each his own, they can modify it. On the bottom, we have 3 rivets holding it together. Peg port for the stand. Copyright crap, made in Vietnam. Pretty nice. And for the most part, it's all die cast for the main body. The laser cannons and the aft section right here is a rubbery material. As you can see, it bends a little bit, especially with the laser cannons. But the rest of it is die cast. And that's all the major parts of the vessel. So now let's get a closer look. Alright, having a closer look, let's begin with the bottom for a change. We have some beautiful line work here in paneling. We can see a seam line from the die cast pieces. But on the whole, I'm very impressed with this. We have a rivet there, some raised sections. We have the peg port for our stand, 2 more rivets, and look at all the detail here. Fantastic stuff. I think this came out great for the size. And here we have our copyright crap. And then we have the aft. And if you look closely, you can see on the sides here, there is line work on these stabilizer fins, which is very nice. Great attention to detail on these. Beautifully done. And just taking a quick look at the sides here. Great stuff. I love the curves on here and the line work. The paint really doesn't cover anything up drastically, so it works with the mold. I do think that a black wash could have filled in the gaps and brought out the detail more, but that's just my preference. And in the front, it's kind of smooth. But what are you going to do? Also on the sides, we do have a little recessed area, and that's the missile launchers. And that's located on both sides, which looks pretty cool. I think they came out great. Now, one last thing is, nothing's flat on here. It may look it, but everything is raised up. And you can see even where the panel lines are, there is little curves in there. Very aerodynamic. Pretty nice. Now, for the top of the vessel, you can see the line work continues. Nice paneling. I love the front here. Very nice with the two raised sections. Lots of line work here. Beautiful stuff. Two raised sections here, looking good. And look at all this. This is great stuff here. A little hard to see because it's almost white, but very nice. And I love the sides as well. We have this little rectangle above my thumb and all these raised sections on the sides here. Looking very amazing. Good stuff. Very nice. And then we have our laser cannon, which is a rubbery material, like I mentioned, but detailed very nicely. Look at that. Pretty sharp. I love the detailing on here. Excellent. For the other side, it's the same. No real differences at all, but nicely done. And then for the aft sections, it's just blank. There's nothing there. We do have a little tiny lip on the top and bottom, but for the most part, not really detailed at all. And here we have our cockpit. We have shield generator right here at the top, this raised section. We have clear plastic holding it in. And it's a little hard to see, but right here we have a control panel. And then there's a seat right here. Let me see if I could get a better look. Alright, this is as close as I can get, like I'm super zoomed in. Now you can see the chair in the aft section right here. Looking pretty good. You see like the cushion fabric molded in there. And then in the front, we have our control panel. And you can see different doodads. It's a little hard to see, but you can see the dashboard right here and some controls right above my finger right there. Very nice. They didn't need to put all this detail in, but I'm happy they did. It makes the piece special. Well, I tried. So moving back, we do have raised sections in the aft. Looking good. And then in the actual aft, we have our thruster section, which looks very nice. We have that X formation, raised section in the center. Looking very nice. Excellent stuff. I think that came out great. Now, one of my favorite parts on this particular model is the actual engine, the sublight engine, if you will, and the stabilizer fins. And just look at the detailing on here. Amazing stuff. Really well done. Love the line work, the paneling. Look at the engine itself with this nice section here above my thumb. Beautifully done. And that is the same on this side. No real differences whatsoever. You can see all the nice line work here and there. Fantastic. I think this really came out great. Now for the interiors, it may be a little hard to see, but for the most part, it's the same. Beautiful line work, nice molding. Excellent stuff here. And I know I say a lot of things are excellent or beautiful, but it's me, man. I love these ships. I love looking at different structures and science vessels and seeing how they work and function in these fantasy worlds. And I get a kick out of it, especially Star Trek and Star Wars. I live for this stuff. I think it's awesome. It makes me happy. And if it makes you happy too, leave me a thumbs up. Show me some support there. Now for the engines, if I move this, you can see they are recessed in. And some nice detailing going around, which is very nice. And then we have this piece right here, which hovers over. And you can see it's just a ring. Little detail in the interior, but not much to write home about. Very nice. Same goes for this side. You can see there's a tiny amount of detail in this ring section. But if you move it like this, you can see that beautiful detailing on the thruster. Excellent amount of work on here. Fantastic stuff. And that does it for the mold. Hopefully I covered everything. I had a blast looking at this. I think there's a lot of nice details on here. It's a great piece. So now let's take a look at the paint. And now looking at that paint on Atomica Star Wars Resistance A-Wing Starfighter. This baby features only 4 different colors, believe it or not. The first one up is a nice rusty orange. It's probably, I would say, the main color of the ship. And it looks fantastic. I would have liked it if it was a little more red or maroon, but I dig it, and I think it looks awesome, so I'm not going to knock it at all. Very nice and very clean. You can see it on the bottom, the sides, the front, the aft, the engines, even the top. Looking sharp. Next, we have the second main color, which is an off tan or an off white, depending on what you want to call it. And that's on the center, around the transparent steel viewport there, or cockpit or canopy, whichever you would like to call it. The laser cannons, the engines and aft, the bottom of the stabilizer fins, and the bottom of the vessel. All in all, a great color choice. Next, we have black, which is the molded piece of plastic for the cockpit, so that's pretty cool. You can see a chair in there and some controls. Pretty nice touch. And finally, we have dark gray for the laser cannon barrels, the engines right here where the thrusters are, so that's pretty cool, and believe it or not, the interiors of the missile launchers, which is pretty awesome. And that's it. Very basic, but it gets the job done, and I'm a big fan. So that does it for the mold as well as the paint. So now let's put this baby back on a stand, compare it to some other pieces, and then we'll be done. Now, just like other Star Wars vessels, it does come with a cool stand. This one is pure translucent, as opposed to the First Order TIE Fighter's darker paint scheme. So what we're going to do is slide the pylon in like so. It's friction, so you'll hear a little click, but it's just because the plastic's rubbing together. On the bottom, we got 2 screws holding it together, a couple wheels, and copyright crap. But on the whole, a very interesting design for a stand. Now we're going to take our ship, peg the port into the pylon like so. We'll hear a little tiny click. Again, it's just friction holding it in. And it works pretty well. And just like that, you are good to go. Ha! You thought I was going to forget, didn't you? The bottom of these stands do have wheels like I mentioned. And that's because the gimmick on these is that they can wheel around, which is pretty cool. It's like you took a nice model and mixed it together with a Hot Wheels car. So it may not roll as well as the First Order TIE Fighter because of the large ship on a small stand here, but it's cool nonetheless. So let's try it out. Awesome. And you could push it, but again, it is top heavy, so it might fall over here. Oh, nice. So there you go. It's pretty cool. I'm liking this thing. And now for a quick size comparison with the Atomica Star Wars Resistance A-Wing Starfighter seen in the center. First, on the left-hand side, we have the Atomica Star Wars First Order TIE Fighter. A very nice piece. We looked at that last week. And then on the right-hand side, we have the Hot Wheels Star Wars Resistance A-Wing Starfighter. You can see the size difference between the two. Nice ships, both in their own right. But I wish Hot Wheels would have made this particular A-Wing color scheme with that nice orangey rust color. Very nice. And since I forgot to do it in the last video, here's a bonus size comparison with the Atomica Star Wars First Order TIE Fighter right here. First, on the right-hand side, we have the Titanium Series First Order TIE Fighter. And on the left, we have the Hot Wheels version. And you can see each ship is different in its own way. Either it has better paint or a better mold or a greater size. So just something to look at here as we can tell the different sizes of each brand here. We have Hasbro, Hot Wheels Mattel, and then we have Takara Tomy in the center. So some nice vehicles here. And if you're interested in seeing reviews of any of the ships I talked about today, check the links in the description below. And that does it today for my review of the Tamika Star Wars Resistance A-Wing Starfighter, released in 2018. Now, as I have always said, despite what many believe about The Last Jedi or The Rise of Skywalker, I stand by what I say. I think whoever worked on the art in those films, the ship designs, did an amazing job. Story, that's a topic for another video. But for visuals, planets, ships, and vehicles, I think they did an amazing job. And out of The Last Jedi, I think this is one of the ships that really sticks in my mind as being awesome. You know, I do like the Resistance Bomber as well. But this, it took what we know and love as the original A-Wing and modified it, stretched it out, and made it look more streamlined. And you know what? Even though I prefer the real A-Wing or the one from Rebels, this works, and it's one of my favorite ships. I really dig it. And Takara Tomy did an amazing job in their line, bringing this vessel to life. Now, for the mold, it's pretty damn good. Yeah, there's some rubbery parts on it, but for the most part, the main body is 100% die cast. And I think they did an amazing job with the raised sections and line work. A+ there. Also, I gotta give them credit for doing the cockpit. Not only did they give us the canopy, but inside of it is also molded with a control panel and also a chair. So very nice touch. For the paint, there may only be 4 colors, but it works for this model. I think it is very nice. I would love if Hot Wheels gave us, yet again, another repaint of the Resistance A-Wing with this particular color scheme. I think it would look awesome. And many people, like myself, would buy it. I guess if I had to say anything negative about the paint, I think that if they put a light black wash or some sort of wash on here to really make the detail pop more than it does, it would help this model 100%. It would fill in all the light line work and really make the detail come to life. And you can't forget, it does come with a very interesting translucent stand. The one with the First Order TIE Fighter was a little darker. This one is clear plastic, and I think it's awesome. I do like it quite a bit. It's a unique design, and it has wheels. So if you have children that you want to buy these for, they do roll very well. This one is a little top heavy, so it might topple over more, but it functions. For adult collectors, I do have to say this though. I do recommend, if you live in an apartment or house that has a little lean to it and it's not really level, get some thumbtack or some sort of sticky residue, stick it on the bottom of the stand, because these have no brakes. So for example, if I put it on a tilt, this bad boy is rolling until it falls off your shelf. So just a little FYI for all of you out there. So that's everything I have to say today about this beautiful A-Wing. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button. If you'd like to see new videos every Thursday, subscribe. As always, I want to thank each and every one of you for taking time out of your busy schedule to watch my content. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time. Bye, everybody.